blockchain technology, entrepreneurs in blockchain technology are going to succeed on the long run in building services in a new financial, not only a new financial system, but also new layers for the internet that will change the way the internet functions. And that's our
So
thesis on.
what is this new thing that you're talking about? Like that is changing the financial system, right?
So there's a couple of things, and I'm writing a big piece on it. But I think the one thing that, from first principles, that we can think about is that as good of a system it has
Yeah,
its problem, right?
yeah,
And I think it's getting more and more amplified as we
yeah,
pass time. Like every year, we see how many data hacks are happening, how much personal
yeah,
information is being shared in
yeah.
what Facebook has done over the years, how like there's social hacking happening through the internet. So there's all these issues that have come, and there are problems not only with that, problems that the internet has. The internet was thought through as a system in the 1980s, and
Yeah.
since then the protocol hasn't received any improvement. So this is like, you have a rocket that was designed in the 1950s, and we have the SpaceX rocket now,
Yeah.
right? This is like improvements in the technology. I'm talking about, there's a
Yeah.
lot of improvements that have happened in like the front end technology, the back end, like
Mm-hmm.
some of it, but the way information is passing through the system hasn't changed. It's still HTTP, HTTPS. The protocols are still very similar to what they were in the 1980s. You've got a few updates, but it's not any drastic upgrade, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that one reason money through the internet is because no one figured out how to internet, and that's what Bitcoin solved. And that was the paradigm shift. It was that until Bitcoin came, any sort of information on the internet couldn't be trusted. There
Mm-hmm.
was no verifiable system. Like there was basically no system that you could trust. Anyone could replicate any information and say they are someone. There
Yeah.
was no the only way to do it before Bitcoin was you needed to have a centralized entity that's this is true or this is false, right? Like if I ask someone, like I'd have to ask Facebook if you're show,
Mm-hmm.
show me your profile, and I'd have to believe Facebook is showing me the right information about you. Right? There was
Is
always a
Wikipedia
middleman.
the start kind of this? Like how Wikipedia always were trying to confirm information and relying on everybody's input, to get like a nominal kind of, yeah, whatever. It just
So
feels like it
Wikipedia is
resonates.
Wikipedia is more crowdsourced, so it's a system built by the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
But Wikipedia is still hosted on a system that's centralized. Centralization is not bad. It gives you like it's optimum, right? Like if you have to decentralize something, you have to spend a lot of money to do so, because let's say you want to have a secret with Wikipedia versus a secret in 10 servers, you have to pay the cost of 10 servers. So the cost of decentralizing something increases, but it makes sense when you want something to
So
be trusted.
like
Yeah.
for many people, like centralized and decentralized, like I think decentralized is a sort of a new word. Like how would you describe this in a very short way? Centralized, we all understand, okay, central authority, right? Decentralized, is it uh, nobody
So
controls, or like how does
I
this work?
think, the only, like centralized means that you have one system that you trust for a
Yeah,
specific information in the context of the internet. And decentralized means that that
yeah.
system is not controlled by anyone. And so, you need to trust a group of people to manage. And I think that's like there's also distributed. I mean, the words have different meanings, but that's what centralized and decentralized. Instead of trusting a middleman, you're not trusting any person. It's just a group that's maintaining a specific system.
Okay.
And you don't have, at least in the context of blockchains, that's what decentralizes, that you don't have to trust a specific institution, uh, information that you can trust. You can trust it having one person in the middle.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, so
so
so that's
that
what
was the
that's what you mean
paradigm
by, like,
shift.
if there's a Facebook, or if there's something else which want to verify my identity, in this case what you said, right? It's gonna ask me yes or no, like what you were saying, and then you will, please continue.
Yeah. So the paradigm shift was that you no longer needed to trust a central middleman or any sort of middleman on the
Yeah.
and this basically had ramifications in terms of whatever technology, like whatever information that needs, or whatever information that needs to be kept secure, right? So one, like what Bitcoin did it was for like a scarce digital, it's just zeros and one digital asset. That's all Bitcoin is. But the narrative that spread was that Bitcoin is scarce and digital. It's better than gold, so it's a better asset. If people didn't spread that message around, most probably Bitcoin wouldn't have had any value. That sort of spread, and now just like how gold got its value over the years, Bitcoin got that value in 10 years. Does it in value? There's no intrinsic value that Bitcoin has. It's a shared value that everyone believes what Bitcoin's worth, and so that is what Bitcoin's worth. There's no intrinsic value that it has. So I would highly not recommend people going into it, but as a technology, it was transformative. But the other thing that it also did was that it was deflation. Supply was fixed. There was no way people could introduce more of Bitcoins into the system, and there was a fixed way it was going to get in. That was also very interesting, right? Like gold, you can keep finding. You can't find Bitcoins after a certain point. There's just a limited amount, and that is a very good property for an asset or a deflationary asset. Because you want it to be of fixed supply, and as demand, you will have a deflationary effect because there's very little and there's too many people who want it. People will keep bidding up the price. Will that work forever? Nobody knows. I don't. But it has achieved what it intended to achieve. So we think that the internet in general has a problem, and a lot of like Bitcoin put this new paradigm in your head that you could have protocols that moved around trusted information away. And this data can also be your identity data, right? Right now, all identity data on the internet is federated, not federated. It is, so Facebook has your identity data, Google has your identity data. You can't move around unless you have permission from it. But it is your data. You should own your data. That is a fundamental value that that.
But isn't it like more better if they keep all the data, because it's more easier for you to maybe sign into different apps, you know? Things like this become a lot more easier, right? Because of...
Yes, it does. And that's the point. They have basically used their position to exploit what, I mean, it's not, they're not exploiting, they're just doing what they could do best. The point is, can we have a better for the exact thing you're talking about? Like, have a great user experience without sacrificing security. Can we do that? Because what we're doing now is that we have a great user experience across the internet as long as all the abide by Google's and Facebook's rules. It's like we have these two dictator companies that are saying this is how we'll do our thing, and if you want to come on board, you can come on board. If we get hacked, you can't do anything. Like, they're basically defining everything, which is not good. They shouldn't have that much power. It's like more power than what government's ridiculous, like the amount of power that they have. They know every single thing about you. They know more about you than what your government about you. And yes, they've not used it for bad purposes yet. But the question is, can a bad actor get access to that information? Or can they become bad enough to use that information against you? And we don't know, like, if that'll ever happen, but it could. We shouldn't like just be neglectful about that. And so, someone's gone. And so, I think we think that there are specific protocols that can be built to improve your user experience on the internet with and better ways of doing business through these protocols. So yeah, that's ours, and this is obviously us trying to predict the future. This is like as good as like throwing down in the middle of there and trying to find, like, we don't know if they're right, but we believe that if we are kind of the entrepreneurs that are trying to do what they're doing are right, we'll have a better internet, and that's sort of what we bet. And so that has nothing to do with the current currency and inflation. It's just coincidental that Bitcoin and inflation have some sort of connection. Yeah, we don't we've not got into the space for that.
It's pretty interesting.
So
Actually, I
yeah,
was checking out the chart. Like when the stock markets go down, and then the prices of
yeah.
the Bitcoin go up. So, dude, like one thing that I understand, and maybe Philip also does, and a lot of people have question about is Bitcoin solving all these problems that you just talked about? Like, yes, it's a
No.
different thing, right? Bitcoin is solving a different problems, and then something else is solving some other problems, right? So, what are the differences here? Like,
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? So what Bitcoin solved for was a store of value on the. We don't
okay,
have a native store of value on the internet. Like we have our own currencies that have been ported onto the internet that still use that to move around, right? Like hackers have been stealing millions and millions of dollars for ages, and people haven't figured out what to do about it. Banks just do it because they don't have any other choice, but there is no currency that's native to the internet. That's what Bitcoin solved. What Ethereum solved for was a native, trustworthy system to execute specific computation. So it basically allowed you to put a piece of code on the internet, and you could sleep at night knowing that's exactly how to be executed. There's no one who could ever hack it. That's what Ethereum solved for, and they call that smart contracts. But it was just basically a piece of logic, like if Shobhit does this, send him this. That's all it could do,
okay.
and nobody could change what it could do unless the coder didn't think about edge cases. Basically, yeah, code is law was what Ethereum. Um, they didn't scale too well, but they solved for that, and that's how we had ICOs, basically contracts that took crowdfunding money and like gave away shares or tokens on like that. They all had different functions. Like they called this utility tokens, they called it asset tokens, they call it securitized tokens now. So that's what Ethereum solved for. What the others are solving for are different. Everyone has their own thing that they're going up. We have our own specific thesis. We've sort of invested abiding by that thesis. That like there's multiple people that believe that their thesis is better or their picks up. We don't know if what our picks will do. It'll take 5 years to know if they're anywhere close to what they want to achieve. 10 years for them to even like get close to achieving what they want. So that's like where we are with us. If you want to go check it out, you can go check out all the projects that we're backing on Encrypt.
Can we check that out?
Encrypt.co. There's our
Encrypt.co.
portfolio. Yeah.
How do you spell that?
INCRYPP.c.
Cool. I'll
And
provide
that's
the
a
link
mix of.
also in the channel, man.
Sure.
So, dude, what are the industries that you see are being changed with the revolution that just started with maybe Bitcoin, right? Because now we're talking about smart contracts where you and I can exchange something, right? Whether it's value or something else. So, what purposes are there that is being solved, and what are the industries that you see in the next 5-10 years that are about to be that you see changing a lot?
I just think a lot of industries where middlemen are meeting might lose a lot of value because what distributed systems allow for is you don't need to trust a middleman for specific information and verifying if that information is true. So like, before, like just think about a bank. What does a bank do? All a bank is tell you that Sumukh has this much balance and he can transfer this much money from his account to show its account. That's all a bank does. And Bitcoin does that. Is it the most efficient way to do that? No, but it does that without you trusting this central entity. And so there's a lot of industries where like identity is one, right? Like now we trust like our Aadhaar system, like specific silos, Facebook, Google for our identity related data. Like let's say I want your authentication or specific data from you. I just pull information from Facebook and I trust Facebook will give me the right information. But I think eventually we'll have a system where we have federated identity. So you have sort of like a passport on the internet, where you move from one part of the internet to another, and this like it carries your identity from place to place. There's a couple of projects solving this. The one that we've backed is called Sovereign. There's Blockstack that has its decentralized identity solution. There's Uport. They're all trying to solve this problem. Like, how do you fix identity on the internet?
One
And I
question
think
with that,
that's a
like
very,
if I have a
very big problem.
decentralized ID, I can log in into, like, how does it really help me? Okay, one thing that I understand from you is the privacy, right? If I'm, let's say, even if I have a driver's license, right? I don't have to show my whole ID to prove that I have a legal driving license, right? Maybe I can just share this ID that you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sort of like that. It's just basically instead of you using your Facebook ID, you just use this other identity system. And the system would, like, it could be integrated onto your browser. There's multiple ways you can solve for that. But yeah, the idea is that when you, from your browser, go to a specific site, the site knows who you are. It has only information that you give it. So it will ask you if full specific information. And if you say, yes, this site can have that information, it can sort of verify that who you are, this who you are. This is very interesting,
Just
like technology.
verify.
Yeah.
Just verify is the main purpose.
Verify, there's multiple things you could do. Whatever the users of identity.
Okay.
Verification is the biggest because you verify certain characteristics. Does Showwith have a bank balance? Does Showwith, like what? Yeah, basically it depends on what the application is, but it could basically pull out this information about you if you have that information stored in your identity. Like it'll be like your passport. Like if the government would know, did you go to the US? It just goes to your passport. It looks like did you go to the US, and it verifies you went to the US. So you'll have something like that in terms of like files.
Okay. So any other industries?
Data exchange, but this is more to business. But there's this is one protocol that's trying to solve how do you transfer data between two businesses right now. Like you, a Showwith owner of Hall Apparel, have a lot of interesting information about your users that you could, like people call data the new oil, right? Data has power for you to extract information about like specific things, but we still not figure out how to trade data. Like I can't take your data, you can't take my data without, like you can't give me your data unless you trust me. But even if you trust me, I can easily replicate it into whatever. I could go sell it, or I could do whatever I want. There's no way for us to exchange data in a secure way. And that is one thing that we're looking at in this protocol called Ocean Protocol. There's Fetch. So we also think that as things converge, like IoT, AI, and blockchain are going to like get together and start solving things, right? So IoT networks, they're going to have to communicate, and they're going to need a trusted backend to move money and move information between themselves. And so we think IoT and blockchain can work really well together. And even when AI to picture, you're going to have systems that distribute the power of AI, I think. But this is a more vague topic, and I don't have specific answers to it. But the idea is not like there's multiple things you can do, but I think blockchain helps AI like in multiple ways. One is like, let's say if you want crowdsource information, like the AI can pay people to give you specific information so that it can make itself more intelligent. It could ask you to tag specific. It could ask you to teach it, so you could like specifically go and tag things. And this is already happening, like tagging. It happens to centralized institutions, but let's say in India, people who are literate, like they can look at a car and say it's a car, right? AI still doesn't understand that unless you train it to understand. And so there's a lot of training data that you need to create, and you could use blockchains to basically do that. It's for every industry, right? The only thing we've tapped on with like let's say
every industry.
Every industry, yeah. Like I mean, every industry in the sense self-driving cars has AI coming, and that's the biggest use of AI right now, and the biggest investment that's going in terms of like. But as time passes, I'm pretty sure AI is going to be built for many industries, and there's going to be a lot that goes into like using specialized information and tagging all of that, and blockchains could help you do that in a trusted way.
So over here you're even talking about like if I have a car and then my car is producing specific data, right? Because I'm driving every day, right? Or if I even have a phone, right? Whatever data I'm using, so it'll be my choice to what to do with that data, right? So whether do I sell this data, do I keep this data, or do I make it very private that do not disclose to anybody at all? So this will all be under my control.
In a blockchain kind
so basically
future.
if I'm driving a car, that can be my source of income where I'm producing the level of data, you know. And then I try to sell my data.
Selling data.
Yeah, you could.
How many clients you're picking up and
right? And dude, you have so much photography data, man. Like
I'll sell that data.
He's got the whole data.
Every picture a lot of data,
so
or is
yeah,
it just
so
one
look,
data?
sorry man,
No.
dude, I'm just talking about your photo only though. I'm excited here, yeah, dude. So like he goes to different websites, he posts all his photos that he's done, and they have their visitors that come to the website and they buy photos from him where he gets certain amount of commission, right? Or they earn certain amount of commission, right?
I earn.
So
it's my percentage.
This is now Philip getting most of what he deserves. Is it something? Am I going right? Am I going right with my thinking there?
Yeah, he's basically. I mean, these are all like super fringe ideas, right? Currently, people are just taking data from you and doing whatever they want with it, but all of this data has value.
Yeah.
Google and Facebook have amassed this wealth of data, and they're selling it to at wholesale, right? Like it's just like this guy does this. You want to sell him this shit? Sell him this shit, and we'll let you target him as much as you want. That will stop at some point if governments have started realizing the problems with it, and I think it will stop at some point. But that doesn't mean this data doesn't have value anymore, and the data is yours, right? Like it is what it is, and so yeah, I think there should be systems that incentivize you for giving valuable data. That's be to AI or be to businesses. You could build up systems that.
There is a new law in Europe, the GDPR.
Yeah, that's more about data privacy.
Yeah, it's more about data privacy. Okay.
Yeah.
As a photographer, I just had to hear.
It's pretty interesting, man. A lot of things are going on my head right now, you know. So, dude, like definitely.
Yeah, I mean, but these are all fringe stuff, right? Like we believe in 10 years, the direction the internet could